Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GoLocal Live here in the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm your host, Rachel Nunes. Our first guest today, talking about a very important issue. It may feel like the middle of summer still, but back to school is on its way faster than we'd like. And so Carmen Recalde Russo, she's here. She's the Director of Community Engagement at the Rhode Island Coalition Against Domestic Violence. She's here to talk about how we can help prevent dating violence in teen relationships. Like I said, very important as back to school approaches, as well as some events that are coming up with the organization. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting us.
So talk to us a little bit. You have a training coming up pretty soon. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, we have a series of training. Every year we put out about from 10 to 12 trainings that has the goals of educating the community about domestic violence. We put these trainings together as we realize that, one, we want advocates that stay up to the latest in everything that it has to do with domestic violence. So many of these trainings are to continue the learning of professional learning of advocates, but they are also open to the public. And we every year we host like 2 domestic violence 101s that is a whole day training that provides all the knowledge that you need to have about domestic violence in just one day. And then we have like specialized trainings. For example, we have a training on understanding the legal system and working with DCYF that help advocates and help also people that are dealing with those systems, like navigate through the issues that they're having. And the good things also that we are able sometimes to bring people from other places, national speakers, and this year we're going to be very fortunate to bring a speaker from New York. Her name is Farah Tanis, and she's going to talk about unpacking sexism in the Black community. So it's a very good way of like really addressing like some of the demystifying sexism and looking into some of the how those sexism affects the marginalized communities.
That's great, and of course, these programs I'm sure are geared towards people who deal with domestic violence and watching the warning signs. But as you said, it is open to the public. And who would you recommend it to?
I think knowledge is, knowledge doesn't take a space. That's how we say it in Spanish. So I think it's open to everyone. We have a lot of people. We have a lot of social workers that take the training. We have some teachers that take the training. We have just survivors that go and trying to learn more about the systems that are they're navigating. And then we also have like people like in the community that they want to be like active bystanders, and they use these trainings to be able to be more active in addressing domestic violence in their community, in their lives.
That's true. I'm sure everyone in some context has come in contact with domestic violence, and the more you know, the more you can be aware of it for friends and relatives and pretty much anyone.
Yeah, definitely. Like the one in 4 women and 1 in 7 men are victims of domestic violence. So it is very likely, if you know 4 women, if you know 7 men, you most likely know someone that is being affected by domestic violence. And education goes a long way in helping someone find resources, in helping someone even understand, what is happening to them. So it's a very the trainings they're great trainings. They are open to the community, and we offer also like a continuing education credits for some professions. So it's a good way of getting some some knowledge to help others.
So talking a little bit more about that, you said 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men experiences domestic violence, and I know a lot of people tend to think, oh well, domestic violence is just being hit or just being yelled at all the time. And like I said, as we get towards back to school time, teenage years are really formative years for how we build our romantic foundations and how we approach relationships. And so getting into that a little bit, why is it so important to teach healthy habits to young people?
It is very important. There's a local statistics, like from Rhode Island, 1 in 10 survivors experience their first abuse, like the first instance of abuse, between the ages of 11. So 11 years old like still like I think that's like you're barely making into middle school. So when you're 11 years old to 24, so that is like a huge number, especially thinking about someone that is so young and maybe doesn't have the maturity to be able to deal with the circumstances. And many times we think about dating violence, we think about this like a puppy love, and it's just like something like not very drastic, but domestic violence, dating violence has a very lasting effects in the victims. So it's very important for teachers, parents to learn about dating violence, to learn about how to help their kids establish healthy boundaries and start early. We focus a lot of time, I think, in the past talking to teenagers, but the studies show that we have to start way early and talking about like healthy friendships, establishing boundaries for themselves, and really taking away some of those beliefs that we have that are so conducive to violence and so conducive to sexism. Like how many times you heard like, oh, you're running like a girl, or you're hitting like a girl, or if someone is being bullied, like, oh, that's because he likes her, that's why she's harassing her. So those things that seem like very innocent at the beginning, but it conveys a message that violence could be tolerated. So it's very important that we already raise children that are going to grow to have like healthy relationships when they are in their teens.
And so what, both for teens and young people, as well as teachers and administrators and people who come in contact with them, what are some of the things that they should know? What are some of the things they should be aware of? And what are some of those things that, like you said, that you grow up thinking, oh, well, he pulls on my hair because he likes me, and then that becomes normalized into, well, he hits me because he loves me. What can we be on the lookout for?
I think that first, like talking about the teachers and what teachers should know. Teachers should know that there are resources available. There are resources to help teach their students, and also to help address some of the dating violence that they might be seeing. And those resources are like online. They can go to our website, and there's also like a wonderful national website that's called loveisrespect.org that has like a lot of activities for teenagers and for middle schoolers to help them learn about healthy relationships versus unhealthy relationships. And then when we're talking about like some of those societal norms that that allow domestic violence to happen, you just have to look at some of the movies that we grew up watching, and how like many times harassment or stalking is viewed as like it's romanticized.
It is, yeah. If the guy comes to her house every day and sends her 1,000 letters and says, "Oh, I really want to be with you," it's seen as, oh, he's really pushing hard and he's doing his best.
Like it's real love. And if you think about like just not too long ago, with the vampire, what was the name of the vampire books?
Oh, the Twilight movies.
Twilight movies. Oh my goodness.
Not a healthy relationship.
It's a horrible, unhealthy relationship, and I think that is something that got lost within everything. You have Tim Edwards, I can't remember the other character, but you have all these things, and there were things about like many breaking and entering. There were like
watching her sleep and things like that. And it's funny you say that, because I remember they came out when I was in middle school, and I remember reading it and thinking, wow, this is so romantic. And then looking back in high school and thinking, wow, that's really creepy.
Yes.
I wouldn't like if someone did that to me.
Exactly. And sometimes we see that. We see very even where with like cartoons. I have like 7-year-old girls now, and I am watching the cartoons that they're watching. I'm watching the shows that they are watching, and there's so many behaviors that are just not, right. And it's very important that as parents or as adults in the lives of like children, teenagers, for us to really step in and educate them about what is healthy, what's not healthy, and have conversations about it. Have conversations about like how would the other person feel, like, because it's a lot about empathy. It's about a lot about creating boundaries. It's a lot about like them being able to understand what is right and what's wrong.
And so a topic that's not talked about as much, usually when we talk about domestic violence, when we talk about teen dating violence, it's in the context of an abusive man with abusing his girlfriend. But I feel like something that's not talked about as much, especially in younger people, is the girlfriend who's really like the trope of the controlling girlfriend and the I don't like when you talk to other girls. I don't think a lot of young girls, teenagers, college students, I don't think they realize that that too is a form of emotional abuse, that kind of controlling behavior. And I don't think it's as widely known, as widely accepted, and I think some of that too goes back to the whole toxic masculinity of, oh, it's fine, guys can't be abused. So how can we, in 2018, as we try to break down all of these stigmas, how can we bring male abuse into the spotlight as well, especially for teens and for young people?
It's good to know that males are being abused too. 1 in 7 men are being abused, and the way that abuse impacts men is different from the way it impacts women. But at the end, it's like domestic violence and dating violence is about the power and control. It's about one person trying to have complete control over the other person's life. That's the way they feel, the way they act, the way they dress, so everything about their lives. And that doesn't mean that strength necessarily. It doesn't mean that having more money versus not. It's just about like this desire of like someone to control. And many times, like even like when you are in a relationship, you have to be vulnerable. That is one of the the ways that you're allowed the relationship to grow. So if you are dating an abusive person, the abuser will use that vulnerability to control and use different tactics to really dominate everything in the victim's life. And the victim could be a woman or a man.
And so when it does come to controlling relationships, especially in young people, I know no parent has ever gotten very far walking up to their child and saying, I don't think you should date so-and-so because he's a bad influence on you. A lot of times the instinct is to say, oh, well, you don't understand, we're in love, or maybe there's the embarrassment of why didn't I see this earlier?
Yes.
So as a parent or an educator, what are some ways that to approach someone who you think may be in a controlling relationship to maybe help them see it instead of walking up and saying, hey, this is bad, you need to do something?
I think having conversations often and early enough about what is healthy, what is unhealthy, and especially allowing that person to make decisions. Because there's going to be something that the victim in general will really try to make it work, because that is how the dynamics of abuse happened, and the abuser will try to isolate that person. So even if they are in the school, they'll be isolated because they are not able to talk to anyone. So keeping the line of communication open and learning about services, learning about some of the resources that are available, having that constant conversation, but not in a judgmental way. About like the things that that could be affecting and the feelings, and just like keeping the dialogue. That is very, very important.
And so in our last couple minutes, can you just list off what are some of the main red flags we should be aware of for our friends and our students and just people around it, and for ourselves as well?
It could be tricky because some of the red flags will also be something that related to becoming a teenager, like for example isolating themselves, having to constantly be on the phone and answer messages or calls all the time, and that I'm just describing a typical teenager, right? But it's also like it's just being on the lookout, so many times it's just like having the conversation and hearing what are some of the things that could make me that don't feel right. If like the person has to provide all the passwords for all the accounts to the partner, or if all of a sudden they're changing in the way they dress, they're always wearing like long sleeves or heavier makeup. It could be to hide bruises. It could be also just depression. It could be more anxiety. isolating themselves from the families or changing activities. They were very active in having multiple clubs, and then all of a sudden not doing those things. Those could be signs that they are experiencing dating violence.
Great. Well, very important topic as we get towards back to school season, both for people who work with young people and for young people themselves. It's really important to be aware of that. And thanks so much for coming on today. Carmen Recalvo Russo, she's here. She was talking about the warning signs of dating violence in young people and what we can do to help. So thanks so much for taking the time to come in today. We really do appreciate it. And we'll be right back with our next guest right here on GoLocal Live. Hi everyone, welcome back to GoLocal Live here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. We're here now with Brian Dwiggins. He's here from Borealis Coffee. First off, congratulations on your big win. It was announced here on GoLocal Live just last week that they won one of the 2 awards for the Rhode Island Food Fights Iced Coffee Smackdown in July.
Yep.
Big congratulations there. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having us.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on at Borealis. We had you here about a year and a half ago, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, we had just opened, I think, when we were on last. So we're about to have our 2-year anniversary in September.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Everything is going great. We're very pleased with all the growth and all the new customers, and obviously the big shout out to the Rhode Island Food Fights Judges' Choice Award, which we were very excited to win that for the 2nd year in a row. But we are trying to slowly add a few more things that people have been asking us for. So we just started teaming up with Rebel Bagels. So starting Wednesday through Sunday, we have Rebel Bagels available now, which is a new ad that a lot of people are excited about.
Great.
So if you're on the East Bay and you can't make it all the way over to Doyle Street to check out Rebel, you can come and grab bagels from us now. And we're not doing full sandwiches, but bagels and cream cheese and stuff like that, peanut butter. Keeping it simple and, as always, focusing on nice single origin, micro lots, traceable coffees, and coffees that we can be excited about, but also are an approachable coffee that without being a little bit weird that might not be appealing to everybody.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit more about that. You said micro labs?
Micro lot.
Micro lots.
So we try to, coffee is, an agricultural product, but a lot of people don't realize where it's always coming from. So we try to buy traceable coffees that are going back to the origin level. So right now we have a really nice Guatemalan coffee that is like from Finca La Esperanza. It's a single estate farm, so it came from one coffee farmer. I'm working directly with an exporter in Guatemala to buy this really special coffee that just is exactly the coffee that I'm looking for, but it's also a customer that a coffee that my customers can also be really excited about. So just because the coffee is so much can be kind of like a commodity where people just like hit a drive-through and they don't really think about what they're drinking. We want to remind people that coffee is a long chain of custody from like the farmer, from seed to cup, and we're kind of the end. By being able to provide our customers with a product that they can be excited about and know where it comes from is important to us. So we just want to try to encourage that education and traceability all the way through.
And that's important too, because then you can know not only where it comes from, but that where it's coming from has fair labor practices, and it's not supporting anything you wouldn't want it to support, and helps get more education out about the chain, because that's true. I know a lot of people just think, oh well, coffee comes from the store. You don't really think about the whole journey of how it gets to your cup. Yeah,
actually, it's kind of like farmers market on a global scale. Like like right now, everybody loves going to the farmers market and being able to meet the person that's growing their tomatoes or their their cucumbers or whatever. But coffee doesn't grow really in the United States except for in Hawaii. So it's something that's very easy to forget about. And so by kind of putting it out there to people that like, hey, this came from this farm in Huehuetenango, Guatemala, like it kind of makes people think about it again, and that's just important to us and other specialty roasters as well.
And so with that in mind, like you said, you've won the Judges Award 2 years now. What do you think sets your iced coffee apart from the competition? Rhode Island we love our iced coffee. We drink our Dunkin' iced coffee in February. Yep. We love our iced coffee. What puts you a cut above the rest?
Well, I think the thing that we got really excited about this year is we offered coffee flights. So we have iced coffee 3 different ways. We have a light roast flash brewed coffee, which is like light, bright, kind of citrusy, a little bit more refreshing. We have our cold brew, which is going to be a little bit darker, more like chocolatey and smoother. And then we have our nitro coffee, which is the Guatemalan that I was just talking about. So we can kind of give people all 3 options, which is really good because that way we can make sure that you're going to leave happy instead of giving you, just like, okay, this is our iced coffee, and if you don't like it, then that's kind of the end. But by being able to let people try multiple options, it appeals to a larger group. But we also roast in small batches, and we're addicted to really great coffee and work on that quality control constantly. So by keeping our eye on the quality and making sure that we're putting products out that we can be excited about, it makes the customers excited as well.
And so why do you think it's better to do all of your own roasting? What does that get for you that maybe another coffee shop wouldn't have?
For me, I just like there's so many different types of coffee and varietals of coffee. It's just like wine. Like you can, wine from France is different from Italian wine versus Portugal and all that, and coffee is no different. So by being able to kind of like really go through and select coffees that I can get excited about is what makes roasting so much fun. Because like right now, we just went through about 15 different samples from Ethiopia in order to narrow it down to one Ethiopian coffee that we're going to start offering in another probably about 3 or 4 weeks. And that's something that, if you're buying from another roaster, if you're not roasting your own, you don't have that flexibility. You're just like, okay, this is their offer sheet and these are my selections. But for us, we can be like, all right, right now we want to have like 5 of these great coffees, and we get to really be the ones that dictate that.
That's great, and it's clear that you clearly love coffee. You know so much about coffee. Where did this all come from? Have you always loved coffee? Is it just something you kind of stumbled into?
Both. So I grew up in Alaska, which is geographically very isolated. That's where the name Borealis came from. And because it's so geographically isolated, I grew up drinking locally roasted coffee, from small roasters up in Alaska and Anchorage. And so it wasn't until I left the state that I realized that a lot of people weren't actually drinking good coffee. So when I moved to the East Coast and even when I was in college in Colorado, I was always seeking out like the best coffee shops and trying to find. I found out that I was a coffee snob without actually realizing it when I was growing up. And then when I was working on the on film sets in Boston, it was all freelance. So there was a lot of time that I would be unemployed and I needed a hobby. So I just started home roasting as a this is a hobby to keep my mind occupied while I was waiting for the next gig. And the more I learned about roasting and more about coffee, I just went down this rabbit hole and it kind of spun out of control. And I took a couple of roasting classes and started thinking about it more and more seriously. And eventually I bought a roaster and was just working full time on movies still, but would roast one day a week and do a farmer's market on the weekend. And then I got to the point where I couldn't really sustain the business and work full time, so something had to give. So when I saw the train depot where the coffee shop is right now in Riverside, right on the East Bay bike path, that was kind of the opportunity that I couldn't pass up. And I was like, all right, well, it's not going to get any better than this. So I took a leap of faith and we opened the coffee shop 2 years ago. So.
And clearly, Rhode Island is very glad that you did.
Yeah, the response has been great. We've got new people coming in all the time and are always very complimentary. So if you haven't been down, check us out.
And so what's next for you guys? What's the next big plan for Borealis?
I'm planning. I'm putting my seeds. I'm planting a lot of seeds right now. I'm not exactly sure what's going to land yet. I do want to have another location eventually. There's a lot of moving variables on that front, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go. But there is definitely a plan on doing more food, roasting more, getting another location, maybe within another year or so. But I've had conversations with some people. We're just waiting to see where everything lands.
And whereabouts do you think that would be? Do you think you'd stay within the Providence area, go out a little further, or is that still all up in the air?
We're pretty dug in, and we have a great following in the East Bay, which is fantastic. So that's one thing that I really like. But I think to really grow the business, Borealis needs to come into Providence. So Providence is going to be our next move, I think.
Fantastic. Well, there's lots of great places in and around Providence, and I'm sure everyone down in the city would love the opportunity to check it out. And so you said you have a collaboration with local bagels that we can now get in your shop. What other kind of offerings do you have? During
the week we get pastry from Olga's Bakery. So we have some croissants and scones and things like that from them. We also get some baked goods from the Illuminated Oven, like really great cookies, some carrot cake muffins that are absolutely to die for. And then on the weekends we get stuff from Rustic Roots Bakery. But everything's local. I'm a member at Hope in Maine, so we try to get a lot of stuff from Hope in Maine and some of their members, Balici's Best Biscotti, Just Like Dano's Rugula, Wise Mouth Tea, Leafy Green Tea. We have a Nitro Matcha from Leafy Green. If you haven't had that, it's kind of like a silent, it's not super popular yet, but people are going nuts over it, the ones that have had it.
All right.
So yeah, as many local products as we can.
And that's great too, because it brings the community together, and it does help also expose people to different parts of the community maybe they haven't encountered yet.
Yep, absolutely. We're the community coffee shop, so I think it's important for us to make sure that we're doing everything we can for the community.
And last question: what personally, if you can pick, what is your favorite type of coffee?
For me, it's whatever is new. Right now we have a really nice wine yeast fermentation El Salvador coffee, which is it's our newest coffee, so it's what I've been drinking at home. But next month it'll probably change, but whatever's fresh.
And actually, one more question. There's been a lot of talk lately about the going plastic-free movement when it comes to straws. As a coffee shop owner, how does that affect you, and what can we do to help with that?
We do sell stainless steel straws, and we offer a stainless steel straw discount. We also offer travel mug discounts for anybody that wants to come in just to kind of have those green initiatives. Travel mug discounts, if people bring in their own like mason jar, we'll fill a mason jar so they don't have to use bags. So we do have some green initiatives and incentives for people. But unfortunately, we're just not quite able to step completely away from the plastic straws yet. But we're always trying to be more and more green to lighten our impact.
Is it difficult as a coffee shop owner to make that changeover? I know a lot of people talk about alternatives, paper straws and compostable straws and things like that, but is it difficult as an owner to make that change?
Yeah, I mean, we offer, when we have people drinking like an iced coffee out of a mug for here, and they still grab a plastic straw, like there's nothing we can really do about that. Like we can't completely take a straw away from somebody, but all we can really do as a business is try to incentivize people to start thinking about it. And I think that's the most important thing about the stainless steel straws, is that it's just kind of raising the awareness so that we can start
people thinking about it.
Yeah, to start moving in the right direction.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on the win. Good luck with the planned expansion. And thanks so much for joining us. Brian Dwiggins here from Borealis Coffee. Lots of exciting things coming in the future. And we'll be right back with our next guest here on GoLocal Live.
Cool. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center for GoLocal Live. We're here with my last guest of the hour, Sherry Weinberger. She's here for Gallery Night Providence. Welcome and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I am the Vice President of Gallery Night, and I am the Gallery Manager at Sprout Co-working Gallery.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about Gallery Night. What is it?
So Gallery Night is a fun, free evening that's open to the public. Anybody can come. It's on the third Thursday of the month, and our season runs from March to November, just basically because of weather. And we run bus tours, and in the summer, like this month, we have a walking tour and a bicycle tour as well. Anybody who wants to can hop on a bus or grab a bicycle or walk on over. We meet at Regency Towers, and we really, Regency Towers is very kind to us, and we're very appreciative of them because they provide us with an indoor space for us to congregate, and we put We have a series of food trucks that come to the Regency as well, so that people can come and have a bite while they're waiting to decide which tour they want to take. And the tours start at 5 o'clock, and there's basically one every half hour, and anybody can just come on down and join the fun. And there are celebrity guides that help improve your experience. This month they're all women in the arts, from the art scene in Providence, and it's really fun. We love filling the buses, so we hope more and more people will come and join us.
And so what kind of stops can we expect on these tours?
So every bus stops at between 3 and 5 galleries, depending. They're all over the city. Everybody's open from 5 to 9, so you don't even have to take a bus. You're more than welcome to drive from gallery to gallery. Some galleries, it's easy to park, and some galleries less so. So if you want
Not always easy to find parking downtown.
So if you want to go to the downtown galleries, I highly recommend you hop on a bus. But you know, we go to RISD and the Bell Gallery at Brown University, and the RISD Museum, and then URI has a gallery, and Bank RI has a gallery, and of course my gallery at Sprout, and then a variety of galleries all over the city, Art Prov and Gathered Glass, and everybody puts on a pretty good party. So there'll be snacks at some galleries. Gathered Glass actually does some glass blowing for you to see how that's done, and that's always exciting. So each gallery has its own flavor, and I really I think that you should try all of them, because you can come over and over again. Every month is different because each gallery changes their exhibit. So you can come every month and go to different galleries, or go to the same galleries and see different things. So it is an activity you can do over and over again.
Great. And so tell us a little bit about some of the folks that are featured this month. It's coming up this Thursday.
It is coming up this Thursday, and it's not something you have to plan ahead. You can just decide the moment before and come over to the Regency and join us. So this month there are, well, I can tell you what's happening at my gallery. I have 2 artists. One is he's actually an emergency room doctor named Dr. Jason Hack from Rhode Island Hospital, and he is a photographer. He started taking photos of poisonous plants to illustrate his lectures at medical school, and he's a toxicologist, so he's very into poisonous plants. And then that just grew his photography skills, and now, in addition to poisonous flowers, he also takes photos of manhole covers, like things that people don't notice. We walk on them every day and we don't always notice them. And he has taken these beautiful photographs of manhole covers, and that's one of the collections that's at Sprout right now. And the other one is a new emerging artist. She's a student from Bowdoin College in Maine, but she lives in Rhode Island, and she has a collection of portraits that are done with spray paint and splatter paint, and some are colorful, some are black and white, and they blend really nicely. I know it seems like 2 different bodies of work, but they blend really nicely together.
That sounds really fascinating, especially the manhole covers. Like you said, you walk on them, you drive on them every day. You never really think about it. In fact, we have one out on the street right in front of us.
Through the window,
and you don't really think about it. But if you get down to it, they really can be fascinating. Especially like the older style can be quite ornate for something so mundane.
That's right. That's right. And they all have different designs and different words on them. And yeah, take notice of them, or come to Sprout and see a whole collection of them hanging on the wall.
So this is a great way to kind of showcase the best of Rhode Island art. We have such a great art scene here in Providence and beyond as well. And so this is a great way to kind of get to know it.
It is, and Gallery Night is a not-for-profit organization, and we are run by a board, and we are in the process actually of trying to grow our board. So if somebody out there listening to us is interested in the art scene in Providence and wants to get involved, you can find us on Facebook or on our website at gallerynight.com. And please, we'd be really happy to welcome some new people.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, if you're looking to get involved, like she said, in the local art scene, be sure to reach out. And so how long has gallery night been happening?
So this is our 22nd season.
Wow.
Yes, which is really exciting. And it's, you know, we've changed over the years how we run the buses and where we meet. But basically it's we support the galleries and we support the art scene and we support the artists of the city. And that is the best thing we can do. And then our mission really is to help the public find their way into the art scene of Providence. And it's this blending of who are the professionals, who are the artists, who is the public, and kind of connecting everybody so that for the betterment of the whole city, really.
I think that's such a great mission, because for some people, I'm sure there's a feeling of, oh, well, I'm not an artistic person. Art's not for me, or art can seem kind of scary. You go into a big, very silent art gallery, and you're walking around and thinking, I don't really know what's happening here. So events like this can help make art more approachable.
Absolutely, and sometimes art can be very expensive. But when you come to gallery night and you take a tour and you'll go to a variety of galleries. Some are not-for-profits, some are for-profits, some sell art, some don't sell art, some is just for display, some is art that is created by students, some is art that's created by professionals, and the price points are all different, and you don't have to buy anything. It's just to come and to have the experience, learn what you like. We do run special collectors tours for people who are interested in buying art and want to learn how to go through that process, but that is absolutely not our focus. Our focus is bringing art to the people and bringing the people to the art and kind of creating a connection there that can hopefully grow through the years.
What a fantastic goal. And so you said it's the same galleries every month, or does it change up a little bit?
So we have a list of member galleries. You can find the list of galleries on our website. You can also at the convention center, at the tourism center, you can find, we have a rat card at the different hotels and places in town where you would find tourist information. You'll find our rat cards that lists all of our galleries. But depending on the year, we have between like 20 and 25, 26 galleries who are members every year, and those are the galleries we feature every month. So some galleries actually close for the month of August. So this month, rather than having many galleries on every tour, some of the tours are only going to have 3 galleries, so that whoever joins those tours, you'll have more of a concentrated time in each gallery rather than feeling like you're rushed through several at once.
Great. Sounds like a nice way to kind of ease your way in then, if you're...
It's so much fun. I don't know why everybody doesn't do it. It's really, I mean, it's fun, it's free. What a great date night, really, when you think about it, right?
Yeah, a great way to get out in the city and see what there is to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. I love being part of it, as you can tell.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. And if we'd like to get involved, maybe we don't have quite enough time to join the board. What can the public do aside from come and just attend the events?
Just come and enjoy. And most of these galleries are open every day from 9 to 5, and then on the third Thursday of every night from 5 to 9. And you don't have to wait for gallery night. I mean, we'd love for you to participate in gallery night, but if you know you work every Thursday night and you can never come, but you want to learn about gallery night and you want to learn about the galleries, they're really nice people who work in these galleries. They'd be you would be welcome. They would be so happy to see you, just to show you around, introduce you to a few artists hanging on their walls. I know a lot of the public agrees with what you said before, which is that sometimes it feels unapproachable. And I want you to know that we're all really approachable. So come and visit us. We'd be happy to meet you.
Great. Well, thanks so much for coming out today, telling us a little bit more about gallery night and how everyone can be involved in art.
Everyone.
And there's something for everybody.
That is. Gallery Night Providence. It's for everybody.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for coming out. We really do appreciate it. Gallery Night's coming up this Thursday, 5 to 9. If you're looking for something fun to do, go check it out.
Yep. Meet us at the Regency downtown behind the library. Yep. That's where we meet. Come, enjoy the food trucks, hop on a tour. Thank you.
Thank you. And that does it for this hour. Kate will be back at 4 with the latest in news and politics, so you don't want to miss that right here in the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm your GoLocal host, Rachel Nunes.